it's Marissa, the crocheter and knitter behind Damsel Design Co. Happy New Year, and I hope you had a lovely holiday. And speaking of the new year, I wanted to share with you my 2025 crochet, knit, fiber art goals and kind of project planning. So I have my phone here for a little help and backup, but I wrote out all of my goals and I wanted to share those with you today. And to kick it off, I've been obsessed with knitting lately. If you can't tell, I finally finished my novice sweater by Petite Knit. This was in my everything I made in 2024 video, so I'm happy that I can wear it here today. So my first goal for this year, and it's not in any particular order, it's just something I want to do sometime throughout this year, is knit a color work sweater. I love doing tapestry crochet. I have many tapestry crochet patterns, and I think doing color work with knitting will tickle that itch that I have in my brain to work with multiple strands of yarn. So a few projects that I have in mind, and I'll pop them up here for you, is the halibut sweater. I've been seeing this all over Instagram and I really love it. It's so cool. I've never seen anything like it. So the halibut sweater is something I had in mind, and another project I had in mind is the porcelain sweater. I just love it. I've been obsessed with like blue and white, so I think the porcelain sweater would be a really cool project to take on. And another project that I had in mind that I saw like right before making this video is like a cat sweater. I forgot the name of it, but I will pop it up here. And it's kind of similar to the halibut sweater, where it's the color work on the yoke. And I think it could be a really fun project because I'm obsessed with cats. So let me know which color work project should I make first. I don't know if I want to do the porcelain sweater or the halibut sweater. Maybe I'll have time to make both, but I don't want to be too ambitious kicking off my goals for this year. So let's shoot for one colorwork sweater. And my second goal for 2025 is to knit a cable knit sweater. These are iconic. This is why a lot of people learn how to knit. So I really want to work a cable knit sweater, and I have a few in mind, and the first one is the Arctic light sweater. I saw this when people were testing it out and I just thought it was gorgeous, but at the time I couldn't knit, so that's something I learned in 2024. So the Arctic light sweater is the first project I have in mind, but of course Petite Knit has these iconic cable knit sweaters such as the Ingrid sweater and the Moby sweater, and I like Petite Knit's patterns. So I made the Sophie scarf, I have the novice sweater, so I think I could follow along with her pattern writing. But I don't know, they're just so iconic and so almost played out, but I don't know, is it played out? Is it timeless? Or do I just go with a completely new pattern maker to me and do the Arctic light sweater? So let me know which pattern you think I should make first. So my third goal for 2025 is to work with boucle yarn. I've seen a ton of boucle yarn on Instagram and in person at my local yarn store, and I've become obsessed. I saw somebody with a boucle yarn sweater in person over the holidays and I could not stop staring at it. So I really want to make a boucle yarn project. Hi noodles. And so I pre-ordered a bunch of boucle yarn from a yarn dyer. Oh my gosh, I think I almost forgot the name of it. Super Glow Yarns. So I pre-ordered a few skeins from them, and it's from their Chapel Roan collection, and it's called, I think it's Red Wine Supernova. So I'm really excited. I've been loving pinks and deep reds lately. Oh my gosh, Noodles is going crazy. So yes, I want to make a boucle yarn project, and I had a couple projects in mind for this. And one is a sweater, so that's sweater number 24. I'll link it below and leave a picture. But it's just the quintessential boucle yarn sweater. I really want one, but I'm nervous working with a difficult yarn, and it will be impossible to frog if I make a mistake. So I don't know if I'm ready to take on a sweater yet. So I also had two vests in mind, and the first vest I had in mind is Vest Tony Maxi. I really like it, but I'm a little bit intimidated by the I-cord edge. I think trying to find the edges with a boucle yarn would be really hard, so still a little intimidated there. And the last top I have in mind is the milk top. It's essentially a vest, and I really like it. It's super dainty, but I don't know, I had a sweater in mind, so let me know. I think I'm gonna do sweater number 4, but those are 4 projects that are on my list. Speaking of projects on my list, a new site that I've been addicted to is Ravelry. As a crocheter, I didn't use Ravelry at all, and now I'm obsessed. I've been favoriting so many patterns, saving them. I love looking through everyone's projects and seeing their notes and their photos. So I think crochet should get more on Ravelry. I don't know why it feels so knit dominated, but it's something that I've been obsessed with, especially as a new knitter. Noodles does not want to leave me alone, but we are still gonna film this video. And my next goals are related to yarn spinning. It's something I fell in love with in 2024. And my fiance is such a thoughtful gift giver, and he got me an electric eel wheel. And so I've been spinning like crazy. This is my first little bobbin, and I'm obsessed with it. I'm using like a tweed type of mix with American wool, and I'm obsessed. So this year I really want to perfect my yarn spinning so that I can keep making yarn, keep using yarn. And that also has to do with one of my goals. So one of my goals is to spin more evenly. I think tweed is something that's really tough to start with. There is a bunch of little bits and it's hard to break it up. So I don't think this is the best yarn to practice spinning evenly on, but I'm still obsessed with it. I love the look, and I think it's gonna make a really fun project. So goal number 1 with spinning is to spin more evenly. And goal number 2 is to learn how to chain ply. So this first set of wool that I have, I'm going to double ply it or like 2-ply it. And then hopefully I'll be able to make a project with that. But I really want to learn how to chain ply. I think it will help me use up most of the wool that I spin up. And I think it'll give a cleaner look, especially since like I do spin unevenly. So yes, I want to learn how to chain ply and see how it looks. I don't know if I'll like it more than double plying or 2-plying, but I'd like to see the difference and see which one that I like more. So just trying to explore yarn spinning more. My last goal with yarn spinning is to use my hand spun yarn. I still have the very first skein that I spun up. You can see how chunky it is. And this was done with a drop spindle, and I'm really proud of it. So I just have this mental block. I don't want to use it because it's such a labor of love. But I need to use the yarn that I have. So hopefully I can plan out a project for this yarn, and I have a lot more wool on hand so I can keep on spinning, but trying to use my hand spun yarn. I think another reason I have this mental block is because I do spin it unevenly. So trying to figure out like what size yarn it is, or like mostly is, and trying to find a project that can use that size of yarn is difficult for me, especially since I don't spin so evenly. So knowing that that project will have bits where it's really skinny and maybe some like thicker parts, I just need to find a project. Even like a beanie, I think like a kind of messy beanie would be fine, but that's what's leading me to just wanting to leave my hand spun yarn sitting. And speaking of using my handmade yarn, I also need to use up my yarn stash. I have a ton of yarn in my closet. In 2024, I bought sweater amounts of yarn. I don't know what I was thinking, that like if I could keep up knitting and crocheting sweaters that quickly. Noodles is screaming. Okay, Noodles. So I need to use the yarn in my stash. I'm gonna give you a few close-ups because they're really pretty, but I do have projects in mind, so hopefully that will keep me motivated to actually make them, since I have a project set for each yarn. So the first yarn, and I'm already getting a jump start on this goal, is the La Jolla bought yarn, and it's 100% superwash merino wool, and I believe it's a fingering weight yarn if I am not mistaken, but it is gorgeous. So the project that I have already started is the City Stroll light sweater, and that's a crochet project by Just the Worsted. And I'm loving how the yarn is working up, because this stash is, I mean, this yarn has just beautiful color. I love the way it's dyed, and it knits up, or it crochets up so quickly, even though it is a slip stitch type of pattern. So it's gonna take me a while, but I think it's gonna be worth it with the drape and the size of the yarn. It's going to be lovely. And this project has been in my like files for so long, so I'm really happy to get started on it. And the next yarn that I have in my stash is Jody Long Alba. I bought this during the San Diego yarn crawl, and it's a tweed type yarn. And the project I'm going to be using it for is the Eloise sweater. It's a Tunisian crochet project, and I just think this tweed is gonna look lovely. The pattern is gonna shine because it's such a simple type of yarn, so you'll really be able to see the stitch definition in this project. The last yarn that I have a sweater amount of is this baby alpaca yarn. It is so soft and dreamy. It's gonna be perfect for another sweater, so I'm definitely gonna use it for that. But I don't have a sweater project in mind. So it's a fingering weight, it's a plum color, it's gorgeous and hand dyed by the alpaca owner. So I'm really excited to use it. I might make another City Stroll light sweater, but maybe I'll use this one for a knitting project. It's fingering yarn, so it's gonna take forever to work up, but it'll be absolutely worth it. Baby alpaca is just so freaking soft. I'm obsessed. I don't know what possessed me in 2024, but looking at my sweater amounts of yarn, looks like I was a little obsessed with this magenta color. So a pop-up goal is to use different colors. I thought I was using a ton of purples, but then I guess it morphed into pink. So I really got to change up my color scheme. Like purples and blues is what I was on, but it looks like now I'm obsessed with pink. So time to branch out. We'll see. I know I have a red wine supernova yarn coming, so yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna go like brat green, change it up creams, neutrals, because this is a lot of pink. This next item on my list, I can't really call a goal. I should call it a to-do item. But for 2025, I really want to pre-purchase an advent calendar. I watched everyone's Vlogmas and I was obsessed, and I felt the FOMO. So this year I will buy an advent calendar. I'm not gonna go crazy. I saw some people have like 5, which is more power to you, but I don't need any more yarn in my stash. I'm really going to try to get a wool advent calendar and try to spin it up as I go. So fingers crossed I can get one and I remember to do it, because people purchase these so far in advance. So I need to keep an eye out. I think like some people even buy them in summer, so it's really hard for me to think that far ahead, but I'm saying it now, so hopefully I can get a wool advent calendar. And my next goal for 2025 is to make felted slippers. I saw so many creators making felted slippers, and as someone who works from home and who's always cold, I really want to have my own pair of felted slippers. And I think that will be kind of like my gateway into making socks, because I'm curious about using double pointed needles, but I have a lot of knitting goals and projects on my mind for this year, so who knows? Let's start with the slippers and see if it gets me into socks. Who knows? And I also, when I was back in Sacramento with my fiance's family, we went to a local yarn store and I saw these felted slipper like yarn set in the store. I will pop it here. And as soon as I saw it, I was obsessed. I was like, I need to buy that yarn. I didn't, but I'm going to once I'm ready to make those slippers. It's such a cool yarn and it's perfect to make these slippers, so that's the one I have in mind. The last goals that I have for 2025 are a little more business oriented. Some of you may know that I have an Etsy shop, so I hope to release 6 more patterns this year. I didn't release my dress pattern, but it's almost done. I just want to record a few YouTube tutorials for certain sections to help out with the pattern. And then I also have a tapestry crochet bag that I'm working on. It's ocean themed, and it's going to be similar to my Radiate Positivity bag, which I'll pop here. So I'm hoping with those 2 patterns and a whole year ahead, I can make 4 more. And we'll see. I have been loving running my Etsy shop. My beanie sales have taken off, so if you're interested in a reversible beanie, pop over to my Etsy. But I've been loving it, so I hope that I can focus more on my Etsy this year and release more patterns. I have been so grateful for all the support on my Etsy, and that kind of leads into my next goal. So with my Etsy funds, I was able to purchase a new camera for YouTube, so this is my jump start into being consistent on YouTube. I want to post a video or 2 videos every month, so every other week. I think with that goal in mind, I can stay more consistent, and eventually it's to work up to 1 video a week, but let's start with 2 a month, and I think I can stick to that. I love creating content for you, so I hope that my Etsy help can funnel into my YouTube. And yeah, I just want to grow and be a bigger part of this crochet and knit community. So I'm really, really thankful for all of your support here and on Etsy. Another goal that I have for 2025 is to post more tutorials. You guys loved my Tunisian crochet mesh sweater, and I already have another project in mind to create a tutorial for, and it will be Tunisian crochet, because I feel like Tunisian crochet doesn't get the love that it deserves. So hopefully that will come soon. I have the yarn for it, but I just need to test out the pattern first before recording the tutorial. And yes, so more YouTube, more tutorials, more content in 2025. Let me know if you have any pattern suggestions based on my goals for 2025, or if you have a vote for one pattern or another. And I would also love to hear your fiber arts goals. What are you trying to accomplish in 2025? I would love to hear it. And one thing that I've been doing throughout my week is setting a word to focus on for the week. And I think I want to do that for the year. So the word that I'm taking with me is discipline. I really want to be focused and accomplish my goals. So let me know if you have a word. I love setting intentions, and I think that really helps us manifest what we want to accomplish. So the word I'm taking with me is discipline. Thank you so much for joining me and goal setting for 2025. I hope to see more of you in the future. Happy New Year!